Right, and welcome to tutorial number 6 of the Moose for Dummies tutorial sessions. In this video, or in this session, I'm going to focus on the variables in Lua, what variables are and what they do. This becomes more interesting for beginners, and you'll see, I think, already starting to see the wood between the trees. Let's have a look. But before I go into a demonstration, I need to explain something. Variables contain and refer to memory locations, and memory locations can have certain data being stored within the memory, for example numbers or strings, but also like lists or arrays and even objects later on, as I will explain. So this is important, that when you declare a variable, you can declare, and declare really means to say this is a variable to the program, right? And you can declare it locally or you can declare it globally. Locally means that you limit the scope, so you limit where this variable is known within your script or within your program in a do-and block or in other types of blocks like if-then-else constructions or do-while constructions and so on, loops. While a global variable, if you declare it, it is known at the complete scope of your running program, so beyond your script. And as I explained in tutorial number 1, where I went into the demonstration of the spawn object and I was, kind of controlling this tank using a global variable, well, this is what has been used. So just remember that global is when you use the syntax variable equals value, then that variable is known at your complete program. But it also has a danger. So if you would assume you would declare at multiple spaces the same variable name, then that global variable will be overwritten. And so you need to take care that you do not overwrite your global variables within your program. While local variables have less, chances that your variables will be overwritten because they are only known at the local scope of your script or your do-and block. But you have less flexibility to use local variables within your running mission, right? They're only known at that small location where you declared them. And I'm going to show this to you within the LDT environment using, the LDT editor. What I specifically want to do now is to explain you the difference between locally and globally. So let me first define a global variable. For example, let me do again tank equals the tank, right? I'm just gonna fill it up with a string, a text field that I'm gonna print. So when I print tank, right, Control S, Control 11, this gives me the tank. Excellent. So what I can do now is I can create this global variable locally, and I do this by writing in front of the variable in the declaration, the word local, which is a reserved keyword. It's also used here, by the way. Yeah, local. This means that tank becomes local within this functional block here, right? Not further, just here. It's gonna perfectly run. So when I do run this program, it will give me the tank. But now I'm gonna do something really special. So I added a do-end block. So when I print tank, and by the way, LDT colors local variables in a light gray color. So when I print tank here, I have a statement that, your program runs sequentially here. So I have a statement print here, and I have a statement print there. A do-end block provides a scope to your script. That means that, within the parameters here, I have a different scope than within the parameters there. But the scope that is known in your block here is also known here. So anything that's declared locally within local function main, that local block here, is also known in the do-end block here. So when I run this, I get I had to save. I get 2 times the tank. Excellent. But now I'm going to do something strange. I'm going to declare tank again. And I'm going to say tank is you know, an APC, for example, right? So when I do now this gives me, because the tank here was known locally, prints tank, but now I have declared a new local variable within this do end block, and I've put APC there. So when I run this, it gives me, you know, the tank and APC. Interesting. Now, if I make this globally, right, and I run this, I get the tank and APC. Excellent. If I remove this one here, and if I run this, I get the tank and APC. Why? Because the tank was globally defined here, but what I'm doing now is I am overwriting this global variable, you know, with APC, and I can do this way. I can check this. So if I go here and I do print tank again, I will get APC, not the tank. The tank, APC, APC, right? Now if I want to keep tank here, but then have a local tank here and get APC only there, I need to make this local. So now local tank is known here, while the global variable tank is known there. Would this work? Let's see. Yes, it does. The tank, so I'm printing the tank here, the tank there, but APC is known here. Tank has a different context now here. Okay? So you need to really understand what local means. Now, you can get errors. Let me show you this. How to do. Yeah, if I would not declare anything here and I would have local there and I'm gonna print tank here again, let's see what happens. This is interesting. So locally tank was declared here in this do end block here, but when I print tank here, this becomes a global variable, but tank has nothing. There's nothing in memory stored for tank, so nil is being returned. Nil means there is nothing in this variable, right? Interesting. Let's play a bit further. Let's do this. Local tank equals the tank. So now we get tank. Here is APC and here it's tank again. But now what I'm going to do is I print tank, but then I'm going to make tank equals nil. What would happen, you think? Let's have a look. It's still printing tank correctly because this variable was known locally, while this is known within this scope as well, locally, right? So, as you can see, there are many things. This is how you clean a variable from its memory contents. So when I print here again tank, and I do Control 11, this gives me a very interesting result. So I get tank is declared here and the value is being put in this local variable here. Then I redefine tank in this local scope here with APC. I print tank, so I get APC. I nullify it, so I get nil. And then I print tank again and I get tank. Right? So I hope you found this interesting. Variables can have strings, but also can have numbers. For example, 10. Right? Local 20. If I print, let me put this away. If I print 10 plus 20 gives me 30. Interesting. what would happen if I do this? Now I make strings. Could I add strings? Let's see. Yes, you can. How is that possible? Well, that is because Lua is a loosely typed language. So it will convert, if it sees a plus, it will convert the 10 and the 20 into numbers, and it will add it, and it will give you a number as a result. However, if I do 10A and 20B and I execute this, I get an error, because now it can't convert this string. Even if I would have here like this written, right? And I run this, oh, excuse me, yeah, it wouldn't be able to add it because this here is a string value, it's not a number. So this only works when your string has numbers. Okay, let's put 20 here, and again we do end. Let me put this globally, and I am going to define here now let's put here wrong 200, and then here, so when I print this here, what would happen? I will get 210. That's true. But if I would print it here again, I would get 30 and 210, right? So the same context, the same concept applies to local variables. While this is local and this is globally. Also see that this is fat printed and this is, light gray printed. So when your program finishes, these local variables have disappeared. Just remember that. This is really important. So as a wrap-up, by default, variables are global when you declare them. So you need to specify the local keyword if you want to declare your variable local. Otherwise, your variables will be known over your complete program, and you have the danger to overwrite them at places where you wouldn't expect it. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.